You know what it's all about? Is filling their buddies' pockets full of money.
You say these developers aren't your friends, but one of them did attend your daughter's wedding.
There is a new update in the Doug Ford corruption case, and it is quite something. So before I get to that update, as well as some just incredible clips in a moment here from Doug Ford from years ago that is basically telling on himself, let me give you a quick rundown on what's gone on up to this point. So I covered the initial corruption story 2 weeks ago when this first hit in this video here, Doug Ford's corrupt government exposed in new Greenbelt report. So to get you up to speed, the Greenbelt is a protected piece of land that was established in 2005 under the former Liberal Ontario government that Doug Ford, under his government, has decided to give parts of it off. Now, his excuse is, well, we got to build homes. Yet, there was an investigation done that came out 2 weeks ago that showcased that no, not only does he not need that land to build homes, there's plenty of land that isn't protected to build homes on, but also the land that was given away was given away because of developers close to Ford that wanted those pieces of land. So instead of what the government was supposed to do, which was assess which parts of the land should be opened up for development based on these nonpartisan individuals that are deciding this, instead of those nonpartisan individuals that were supposed to be deciding that, the Doug Ford government decided it based on what they were being told by developers close to Doug Ford. So land that was already owned by these developers, they decided, open this up. And when that land was opened up, all of a sudden, of course, that land is now worth billions of dollars more, $8.3 billion more than what it was initially. This is clearly a giveaway to his rich buddies. So before I get to the major update to this story, let me give you a few other minor updates before we get there. So the Narwhal has done an incredible job breaking this all down. They were part of the investigative journalists or the journalism team that initially began the look into what was going on here before the Auditor General looked into it and exposed it through that investigation or through her report. But there's also, I mean, since then they've doubled down on it not being an issue, while at the same time taking forward, attempting or claiming he's taking full responsibility, yet doing nothing to change the decision, not reversing the decision. At that point, no one getting fired, claiming the buck stops with me. But again, all just words. Nothing came from that. And then even the next day, he flip-flopped, saying that no one had preferential treatment, despite what the report said, despite what he had even acknowledged in some ways the day before. So Ford attempted to take no responsibility at all for the clear corruption going on in this case. So I got to play this. I was going to save this till like the end because it's such a sweet set of clips, but I'm going to show it up front because I want most people to see this. This is a bunch of clips. This is before any of this investigation came out or anything. This is Doug Ford attempting to talk about the other parties, yet it's very clear that he is projecting here. So these clips are put together by T.Resident on Twitter, so all credit to him for or her, whoever it is, for finding all these clips. But let me play for you this incredible collection of projection.
We've never seen more backroom deals, more scams, more people getting their pockets lined.
All these fat cats that are making millions of dollars, and I'm not talking about the people making $100,000. I'm talking about all these guys making their deals behind closed doors and then keeping it a secret, not telling the taxpayers. That's unacceptable. We have to make sure that we have some transparency down here.
It's all about changing the lines. You're going to get a piece of property. You're going to get a piece of property. By the way, donate to my campaign for $10,000 a seat at a dinner.
You know what it's all about? Is filling their buddies' pockets full of money, sole source deals, giving contracts. It's all about the money.
Selling access, how many tables you want, and we'll fix you up at the Greenbelt. Not a problem at all.
It's all about the money.
To support their developer buddies, you buy the table, we'll give you a little bit of the Greenbelt off. That's the real story.
Is filling their buddies' pockets full of money. It's all about the money.
This has to be, and I'm taking into account all politics that I've ever covered in my entire life. This has to be the clearest form of projection that I have ever seen. He's even specifically talking about the Greenbelt in these clips, where he's claiming that other parties, that the Liberal Party, are giving away parts of the Greenbelt to their buddies. Meanwhile, that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. So I have never in my life seen a more clear case of projection. What a corrupt piece of trash, to put it kindly. Now, there's a couple more updates I want to get to before I get to the big one. Just quickly here, the National Farmers Union has called for the land to be returned to the Greenbelt. So there are a bunch of groups, including the National Farmers Union, that are now putting pressure to return that land. The Integrity Commissioner at this time was saying they may investigate the Chief of Staff, who is Amato, the Chief of Staff of the Housing Minister, which helped to lead the whole Greenbelt plan to take some of that land away. Well, it turns out this is Amato. He resigned. So as that investigation was going to commence, he decided, you know what? Maybe don't. Maybe I'll just leave now. So he has, Ryan Amato has resigned, and the Premier's office has accepted his resignation. So that's as of yesterday, August 22nd. Now we get to the new update, the big one. The OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police, say it's referred the Greenbelt matter to the RCMP, essentially Canada's federal police. So the OPP statement here, to avoid any potential perceived conflict of interest, I'll get to what that may be in a second, the OPP referred this matter to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. This was my initial reaction to seeing this. This wonderful Doug Ford gif. Or I think he was like making pasta or something, pasta sauce, I don't know. But it perfectly fits this story. To see that there actually may be a criminal investigation into this is wonderful, because this is why the OPP really shouldn't be the ones to do this. This came out about 7 days after that investigation to the Greenbelt. People in Ontario furious over reports Doug Ford got a private plane ride from the OPP. So Doug Ford, who talked all about all the wasteful spending from the Liberal government, I got the gravy train. Meanwhile, he was taking the gravy plane to places. So, I mean, credit to the OPP here for not doing a sham investigation and actually realizing they can't do this themselves and they have to move it to the RCMP. So good to see that. We'll have to see where this goes, because it's also where this pasta sauce goes, but where this goes, because you know, it's very hard to imagine people in power getting any repercussions at all, but we're at least moving in the right direction here. Now, a little more details here from the CBC. The RCMP said Wednesday it is assessing whether or not to investigate the Ford government's controversial Greenbelt land swap after a referral from provincial police in Ontario. Quote, at this time, RCMP Ontario Division is beginning our evaluation of the available information, a spokesperson said. After we have conducted a full assessment, we will determine whether to launch an investigation. So they are just in the are we going to investigate stage right now, which doesn't mean they will, but again, it's something. Now, I just got a T-Dot resident, by the way, if you're on Twitter and you're in Ontario, or even if you're not, follow T-Dot resident. Has done a fantastic job here breaking down all of Ford's BS. But this is Ford in, 2018? 2018, saying, a fan snapped this picture of Doug Ford flying economy class. Do you think Kathleen Wynne, the former Liberal leader, ever tried to save tax dollars like this? Meanwhile, Doug Ford in 2023 taking the OPP's play. Unfreaking believable. What a crook this man is. So also, there has been other reports about reporters have been trying to access the call records of the Premier, and they are not being given access. And then in the process of that investigation, they also discovered that during like the height of the pandemic, Doug Ford didn't use his cell phone at all, which is bizarre. So they're not really sure who he was talking to, if he was talking to anybody. So that's a whole other part of it that is, clearly the point being here, just a total lack of transparency from a government that has complained that previous governments weren't being transparent. And that's it. So let's see. Let's see where this RCMP investigation goes. I really hope they do something here, because this absolutely is one of the most corrupt cases when it comes to Ontario politics that I have ever seen. And Doug Ford being at the top of this is not at all surprising.